Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Now, this is quite a tricky subject because it's feeling all of our feelings and all of our emotions and not cherry picking some of them. So I can tell you for a fact that I definitely used to be somebody that topped and tailed my feelings. And what I mean by that, I used to play a lot of tennis. And I used to just do, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, I used to top spins and underspins with my emotions, metaphorically. So, in other words, if a feeling or emotion came near me in my own body, came up to the surface of my consciousness, which I didn't like, and which would trigger in me this now ludicrous idea, but understandable idea, that there was something wrong with me because I was having this response to something, I would just spin it off me. I would pretend that it wasn't really happening. And of course, all of the accumulated feelings that I was topping and tailing, I didn't know were building in my system. Now, why is that relevant to you? If you have a chronic condition, mentally, physically, even spiritually, when I mean spiritually, I mean you haven't yet found your purpose in life, you maybe are going through the endless identity crises that, in fact, we all go through, and all the seasonal shifts that we go through, and all the losses that we have to come to terms with on many, many different levels. So we're constantly being challenged, in other words. Now, if you have an accumulation of unexpressed and unfelt emotions, your pain levels and the states that you live in are going to be far worse. So one of the quickest ways to start managing your physical pain, your mental pain, emotional, even chemical, is actually to start allowing yourself to feel your feelings and become more conscious. So the tip with this video, and it is one of the biggest themes that I talk a lot about, is actually to check in with yourself at least 2 or 3 times a day. It doesn't matter whether you're going to the loo, washing your hands, just having a private moment. Just start checking in as if you're checking with your lover, your best friend, the neighbor. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's happening? Just check in with yourself. But the focus is, what are you actually feeling? Because it is really important to start actually literally getting hold of the fact that the answer is sad, let's say, or angry, frustrated. Your emotions will be showing through in your behaviors and your choices. So the sooner you can begin to have all of your emotional states, and the sooner you begin to realize that it is human and normal to have emotional responses to every single aspect of our lives, the sooner you can begin to change how your dynamic energy and life force functions. And the sooner you can begin to literally dial down the levels of physical and mental, emotional pain that you have to live with. What I'm here to tell you is that the second I learned the tools to stop topping and tailing my emotional states, the quicker I began to manage the diseases that I was born with that should have taken me out years ago. Now, I'm going to give you another tip. Look up the Grief Recovery Handbook. It's on audio, it's on Amazon, and it was written by John James and Russell W. Friedman. Those two names. So the Grief Recovery Handbook. It's a little tiny book, and just listen to it in your ears if you're not a visual reader, and just get the hang of what we are all basically up to with our emotional states. It's an amazing subject that will give you more information and quicker than a lot of other things out there. So if you want to master yourself, and if you want to really, really improve your self-care packages on a daily basis, then perhaps take heed of these suggestions and remember that there is masses that we can do with ourselves, and we can get our own dynamic life force going. And I really hope that serves you. It certainly changed my life. It was an absolute game changer. And I ended up training as a grief recovery specialist. And no, I don't get any kickbacks for what I'm sharing. It's fantastic information. And the work that they did, and they are still doing, one of their sons is now head of the Institute in America. And there's a woman here in England who does it. They do courses, but start with the book. It's well worth putting that in your own self-care library. Take care. Bye-bye.